Welcome to Monza, where the crowd are ready for today's action. And we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for that #1 spot. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action.
10 seconds counting down now. Okay, and we have 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Italy, and we are off and racing, going down into turn 1. We'll have a look. Zamajo leading the race with Finn and Samus. Everybody relatively clean through turn 1. No major collisions. I do believe that's Godwin who got the short end of the stick and is coming up the rear of the grid now. Zamajo in first position ahead of Finn, and there's Finn out of Ascari. He is off. Ooh, and he is losing a massive amount of positions there coming out of Ascari, and that was a very questionable rejoin to circuit from the Finnish driver, as he's now making his way wheel to wheel with the McLaren of Aphrodite. And I apologize, that was not Ascari. That was the turn 2. As we are now making our way through Ascari, all of these drivers keeping it nice and tight on the tarmac. Samus into P3, having a much better race than he had the first time around before we suffered a large amount of bugs. Mikau into the pits here in lap 1. Looks like he had some damage. Rackety's car is currently disconnected. BTFU on the mediums making his way ahead of Aphrodite. BTFU catching up to Finn now. Ooh, BTFU off wide a little bit. That's Aphrodite's position for the taking, and he gets ahead on the inside of the Toro Rosso. Very nice heads-up driving there, but he is having a bit of a connection problem. And we have a VSC deployed here on lap 2. That is Sneaky, who has spun here, just heading into Sector 2. Or heading into Sector 3, I should say. He has spun in the Renault on the 1-lap-old mediums, and we have a VSC deployed, so all drivers now having to reduce their delta pace. Zamajo has decided to pit. That is Samus up into P2 behind the Ferrari of Yoda, leading this race here in Monza. We are back to green flag racing, and he is 2 seconds ahead. Aphrodite now up into P4, Rackety in P5. BTFU in that Toro Rosso. He's trying to catch up Aphrodite as best he can, but Aphrodite is on the quicker tire for the time being. Sneaky and Custom out of this race early. Another VSC being deployed. Drivers once again having to reduce their delta. Samus, Finn, and Jasko, Luktra all into the pits now. BTFU moves up into P4. He's still behind Astrodite, waiting for this VSC to pop back offline so that he's able to make a smooth overtake. Luktra retiring the car in the pits again. So he is out of this race. 3 out of our 16 drivers out of the race. And we are back. Green flag racing here. It is Astrodite very close to the rear of Rackety. Yoda has pulled away with a huge lead over these drivers on those soft compound tires. He still has to pit though. Rackety 7.7 away from the race leader, and Astrodite less than half a second separating him and that next step up the grid. Astrodite with a very good exit over the Renault driver out of Ascari here. He has the slipstream. He has absolute blistering pace over that Renault driver, coming down into the world famous Parabolica curve now. That is Rackety staying out on the inside of Parabolica. You can see Astrodite with tons of traction in that McLaren, just getting ahead of the Renault driver here. Now it's going to be a drag race down into turn 1. Rackety with the DRS. He does get ahead of the McLaren driver heading down into turn 1. A little bit later on the brakes is Rackety. Very good job making his move through the inside there, and a very good exit from the Renault driver as Astrodite looks to make a move later down the lap with Vettel currently a second and a half behind podium positions. He's looking to have his first good finish of the tournament. BTFU looking at Vettel. Absolutely charging here in Monza, looking for a good haul of points. Vettel. Ooh, look at that view from BTFU on board there. You can see Vettel just getting out in front of Astrodite. A little bit of contact. Astrodite still with a fully intact front wing, which is very important. BTFU is up into 4th, Astrodite into 5th, dropping back to Vettel and BTF. Vettel in 3rd in that Red Bull, doing a very good job of making a statement here on the first of 2 days for this racing action. Astrodite, though, on those soft compound tires, making a switchback with BTFU as we head down through into Sector 3 now. DRS wide open for the Toro Rosso driver, but that's going to be Astrodite without the DRS heading into Ascari. Important to keep it very clean through Ascari here. It could make or break your race. Take that turn wrong and you will fly through a wall, and it is game over. Astrodite doing a good job of keeping up with Vettel. BTFU feeling the medium tires as he's not quite able to keep back up with the McLaren just yet. Henry is now out of the race as well. Only 12 out of the 16 drivers remaining here, and Astrodite with the DRS heading down into turn 1. He gains a good chunk of time on the rear of Vettel. big spin out from the rear of this McLaren, though, as BTFU, I'm sure, is going to be happy about that. He'll gain a little bit of time. Astrolite gearing up for a charge on Vettel as we enter Sector 2. Very shaky move there from the McLaren as he had a little bit of a weave on that front end, but he does make his way into third. Vettel, very, very sketchy through Ascari here, almost losing that car. Does a good job of getting things under control, but he is going to lose a massive chunk of time as Astrolite just flying through Ascari with so much traction on that McLaren. Vettel losing out through there for sure. BTFU, though, has made a massive gain on the rear of position 4, as he will have DRS, and Vettel into the pits behind Astrolite. BTFU staying out on those mediums for that longer stint. Rackety and Yoda currently in first and second positions on those soft compound tires. Samus, one thing to note, on those hard compound tires, Mikau out of this race. That is a shocking result for the Mercedes, as he is our 5th driver to exit early here. Jasko into the pits now. Not too sure what happened. I'm sure we will find out ahead of our race day tomorrow. Yoda still in a commanding lead of this race. Rackety in second position. BTFU in third, hunting down podium points as he is on those mediums. Finn currently in fourth. On those 4-lap old mediums, Finn going to be doing everything he can to catch up to the podium positions here, as BTFU staying out on those mediums and seeing the Yoda and Rackety drivers heading into the pits for those medium tires as well. Finn going to overtake Rackety and Yoda down the pit lane straight, and he is up into second position. BTFU, I do believe, still needs to pit here, so that is effectively Finn's race lead at the moment. But until then, BTFU in that Toro Rosso is leading this race. Yoda, less than a second separating him and Finn. Yoda on the fresher compound tires. Hopefully he is able to make significant gains on that racing point now when he is within DRS, as he is going to have the DRS heading down into Ascari. Let's see what kind of speed we can see out of this Ferrari here in its home race. Samus in the Haas with that Ferrari power, currently running in fourth on those hard compound tires. Zamajo behind him on the mediums. Zamajo on the quicker tire. And if I may say, driving that Ferrari in the quicker car. And there goes BTFU into the pits. That means Yoda is up into second position, and we're going to see a shuffle of positions as Samus and Zamajo are going to overtake BTFU while he's getting those tires fitted. He jumps onto the hards. Oh, dear. So, BTFU onto the hard compound tires. Not too sure what's doing there, but those are going to be quite slow for the remaining 3 laps of this campaign. Yoda on the fresher mediums, gaining on the race leader Finn now, with Zamajo, or I should say Samus, caught between a Ferrari sandwich at the moment. Zamajo absolutely gaining on him. See Yoda with the DRS moving down into Ascari now. Doesn't have enough of a gap in order to make a move just yet. Yoda less than half a second separating him and Finn. He is going to have DRS on the pit straight here. Coming out of Parabolica now. What kind of exit can we see the Ferrari get? Decent so far. DRS, 100 meters to go. Rear wing wide open now. Clocking almost 350 kilometers an hour down the straight into turn 1. Not enough of a gap as Finn is just showing great pace in that racing point on those 7-lap-old mediums. There's a fight for positions going on at the back right now as Vettel has had a very unfortunate chain of races this evening. Jasko currently in the points on the 2-lap-old softs in position 10. Gadwin running 9th in the Red Bull on the 6-lap-old mediums. Astrate P8. His teammate Tactical Velcro just ahead of him. He takes a 3-second time penalty after exceeding track limits. BTFU running in 6th. Currently 6 seconds away from the 5th position. Rackety in the Renault. And now Zamajo gaining on Samus. And Yoda with the DRS down into Ascari. Overtake down the inside. Finn starting to feel the tire wear on the 7-lap-old tires. Yoda definitely getting a lot more traction on those younger tires, and he is into the lead of this race. Very nice from Yoda. Samus under serious threat here from the other Ferrari. That is Zamajo. He's doing a good job of holding up the Ferrari Zamajo, though, as he is currently less than half a second away from the Haas ahead. But Samus, 9.5 seconds away from the other podium position. So Zamajo, a mountain to climb here as he makes this move down the outside with the DRS. Samus most definitely a sitting duck in that situation. Moving down into turn 1, keeping it nice and tight. That is Zamajo with a 9-second gap to close to position 2, and that's Finn still very tight to the rear of Yoda. Although he is on those older tires, he is showing great pace in that racing point. Not too much doing on circuit at the moment. The battle is really only happening at the front, but Gadwin is currently within a second of P8. Jump on over to see what's happening there. So he's trying to close in on the McLaren of Tactical Velcro, but we are going to jump back on over to Finn, who is absolutely doing everything he can to hunt down the Ferrari of Yoda here. We are on the second last lap of this race. Moving down into Parabolica. We're about to start the final lap of this campaign here. Finn with the DRS. This is going to be huge. Is he going to have enough of... Oh my God, look at the power coming out of that racing point. Moving down into turn 1, wheel-to-wheel action here. Yoda losing out to the racing point, but there is still, I should say, one more DRS zone to go. Yoda not having the exit he needed there in comparison to the racing point. He's now dropped back just over half a second, moving down through into the second major chicane here in Italy. Gadwin staying within Tactical Velcro there, as you can see on the timing tower. He is within half a second, but Yoda just so close to retaking lead of this race, as he has been in this last phase battling with Finn the entire time. He's going to have DRS moving down into Ascari. Hopefully he gets a good exit out of Ascari and can use the slipstream to his advantage. He is on the fresher tires. Hopefully he sees good speed. He is running a very low light on fuel there. We'll see if penalties play a role here in the race as well, but that is Finn looking like he is going to cross the line first coming out of Parabolica. Yoda not able to catch up to him the way he would have liked. Finn taking the checkered flag here in Monza. Yoda finishing second for Ferrari, and that is Zamajo currently finishing the race in third. So it's a 2-3 for the Tifosi fans here in Italy. The Ferraris coming home, finishing the race 2-3. Very nice finish from them. Obviously not what would have been ideal here at the Temple of Speed for those Ferraris. But Rackety finishing here in 4th, Samus in 5th, BTFU rounding it off up in 6th. And then we have another 5 drivers still yet to come home. Aphrodite rounding the final Parabolica turn now in that McLaren. He is going to come home in 7th. Velcro battling with Gadwin still. Gadwin jumping ahead of Velcro at the race finish here due to penalties. And then it's going to be Jasko and Vettel coming across the line last here. Vettel and Jasko, I do believe, are out of this race. Vettel is not with us. As you can see, his car is ghosted, and Jasko in that Alfa Romeo having a little bit of a struggle on those softs coming out of Ascari there. We'll see how these two fare around Parabolica. You can see Vettel, the X there on his car, is no longer in this race. Jasko with a big drift out there, big slip of the rear, and he is going to come across the line on track 10th. And I do believe that is his race done with the 1 point awarded. But what a race we saw here in Monza. I'm glad that we were able to get that back under control here ahead of our technical difficulties that we suffered earlier. So, and once again, we have Finn holding that trophy here. What a great 3 races we've had here over the past couple of hours. Again, guys, this was Misfits Racing League March Madness day number 1. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing it all over again for another 3 races. And then at the end of those 3 races, the driver who participated in all 6 rounds with the most points will win $25 US, which is fantastic. Be sure to follow the channel if you haven't already to tune in for that action tomorrow, 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time. And of course, every Thursday at 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time, we do host the MRL Racing League, or the Misfits Racing League, aka the MRL. Now, real fast, just gonna jump on over back to our splash page. So yes, tomorrow, 5 o'clock, we are going to get the racing going once again. We have 3 more rounds, and those rounds are going to be held in Canada, Azerbaijan, and to finish things off, we're going to Spa. That's right, it is the Belgian Grand Prix to finish out the tournament, and I am extremely excited for all of those races, and I am extremely excited to have all of you guys join us along for the ride. Now, if you are only tuning in right now, don't worry, I got you covered. There is going to be individual videos for each race that we've had here tonight, as well as a full stream VOD available on our YouTube channel, which the link you can find down below. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to jump on over and raid my good friend, Mr. Samus 2177. And I hope to see you all tomorrow for another fantastic day of MRL March Madness. Have a great night, guys. Let's head on over and raid Mr. Samus and wish him some good racing. And I'm sure he'll be doing some open lobbies.